Hey, all you beautiful, amazing people on my channel for yet another episode today. Thank you so much for joining me. We are trying something new today. This series of new episodes that I'm pulling up is called The World of Design. Still Imagery's niche is actually design and fine art. So I want to have more conversations regarding that so we can express design in its various art forms and various disciplines, right? So with each, and I'll have different episodes, but this is the first one. Of course, we'll be focusing more on architecture, but the whole theme of the series and the talk show is to just get into conversation with different professionals that are in design. Like today we have Naledi Segale. She's my friend and my business partner. We do a lot of work together. We do art together, but she is an architect, she's an interior designer, and she's an artist. So today we are going to be talking to Naledi and expressing more on that design discipline. So yeah, welcome to the show, girlfriend. Hi. What's up? How are you doing?
I'm good, and you?
I'm good. This is Naledi Segale, personality disorder. She's a bit cuckoo.
I'm an individual. I'm not the standard.
Yeah, man. But I mean, you chill with me, that's why.
I mean, you bird from a feather, so.
Long together.
Thank you.
So, please give us an intro on you, Naledi, please, so that people know about you.
I'm Naledi. I'm an architect. I'm an interior designer. I'm a business owner.
Yes.
I'm an artist. I'm a black woman.
Hey!
I'm from the town. I'm a woman, it's all in me. I'm all of those things.
Yeah, all-rounder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I want us to get more into the understanding of architecture today, your style of architecture in general.
Mm-hmm.
Get into more about township architecture in township and all those things. So we'll be elaborating more on that today. But at first, let's start off with a little bit more of the casual stuff, so we're a little bit more relaxed. Being around cameras can be nerve-wracking, so in order for us to get onto the flow of things. Yeah, maybe we could just start off with telling people how we know each other, how we met, the type of work we do together, because obviously we do a lot of work together. More than anything. Siyasebenza.
What? Thanks. Say it again. Say it again.
Yeah, thanks.
Just to let them know. Thanks.
Yeah. So I think before we speak about our first exhibition, we'll just speak a little bit about how we met.
Mm-hmm.
I can't actually come to think of it. I don't actually remember how we met. I just remember Tommy. Tommy is one of my close friends. I've known him since we were really young, and I just remember the time he was in college studying architecture. He just told me about Naledi. He kept telling me, Ray, you gotta meet this girl.
Let me tell you. Okay, Tommy in varsity, look, he's annoying. He always like to push my buttons. I think that's what brings him joy.
Yeah.
Just to see me upset. He just wants to fight with me, just wants to see me upset. So he was just like, nah, you gotta meet my friend Ray. I'm like, nah, but I don't care about your friends. You just want to fight me. Your problem is you want to fight me. I don't care. I don't want, like, I was like, nah. He's like, nah, you got to meet Ray. And, like, obviously we got closer, especially in our final year in 2016. We got closer.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm like, okay, yeah, I don't mind meeting your friends. You chilled. That's only when we started getting chilled. We only started getting chilled final year.
Oh, okay.
No. We weren't friends. No. Don't get it twisted. We're business partners now. We're friends now.
Yeah.
We were, no, please, don't get it twisted. So it's just like, so it's just like, nah, you gotta meet my friend Ray. You guys are gonna get along.
Yeah, and he was like, you guys are gonna create so much fire. He's always talking. And like he knows me so well that I would trust him for him to tell me, you gotta meet this person. So I was like, yeah, it's cool. Let's do the things whenever I'll see Naledi. I know about her already because they speak about her, but like I'll see her when I see her. And then next thing I know, bam,
now here.
We are working together like
Thanks.
all the time. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't actually remember the day we actually
the
met.
specific day. I don't even remember either.
Yeah.
You know who would remember? Tammy would actually.
Yeah.
Tammy would remember the specific day because it was probably the most exciting day of his
Yes.
life. Because the way he's been promoting us meeting,
He always knew we were gonna do dope shit, man. Yeah. But I think what I'm saying is, maybe we don't actually remember meeting because it just feels so familiar with each other. Right?
I actually think so. Because I think from them I'm just like, yo. Because when I first met you, I think because you were still very into like. You were still in that Cape Town, from Joburg to Cape Town.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, yo, tell me your friend is outside. Yo, she's wilding. Tell me your friend is wilding. I like her, she's a lot of fun, a lot of personality. Yo, but Ray's outside. Ray's outside. She's outside. Nah, she's just outside. But I like that. I like that energy. I like that energy. Yeah, but I'm like, yo, but she's outside. You didn't tell me how outside she was. I think she's dope. But yo, your friend's outside. I just remember Ray saying all the time, yo, what the fuck, man? What the fuck? And just like, yo, tell me your friend.
Like, yo, dope. Hey, man. But yeah, man. So, and then time went by, and then I think immediately after we got to know each other, we started creating work, right? Because we're always like talking about work and spiritual stuff.
Yeah, we're too deep. That's the problem.
But it feels great to obviously work with someone like that, because I mean, I think everything is like that to me. So you know,
like instant, because like you shouldn't, especially now. I think nowadays it's so hard to have a deeper connection with people, because all relationships seem to have like a surface level thing. So like to just like meet somebody and just be like, nah, I get her energy, I understand.
And especially because my work incorporates a lot of my personal stuff into it, it's easier for me to be able to relate personally to people that I work with, because then it comes through with the work as well, which I also find with your work, you know. So yeah, it's great. I think let's talk about our first exhibition. Tell us more on that.
When was it? 2018?
I can't remember. I just remember that I got an email from the Fringe, and they invited me to be a part of the show. But then we had to partner up with someone, and I didn't even have a partner. And it was just after I met you. Just after I met you, because I remember thinking in my head, like, I don't know, who would I partner with? Then Naledi came to my head. I was like, yeah, Roger, I met this girl for a reason, right? And I just emailed you straight up, and we just created Fire. How was that? That was your first exhibition,
it was my first
right?
exhibition.
Yeah.
It was my first exhibition, because once I got into architecture school, I kind of left like the art thing to the side a lot of the time. So to have like a reason to create new work and to work with somebody else and collaborate and sort of share inspiration. There was I've never actually told you this. That was a really, really big deal for me.
Oh, okay.
It was a really big deal for me, because for the longest time I'd always doubted my creativity and the things I create, especially not architecture. That's why I was confident about that.
Okay.
But like my artistic expressions and being able to express something solely from the inspirations around me. I'd always doubt that, and people would be like, nah, it's dope. I wasn't sure of it.
Oh, okay.
And so that platform, like the exhibition, really allowed me to realize that whatever I give out to the universe has value. And other people see that value. And just because I don't at that point in time, I don't see it, it doesn't mean that other people don't see it as well. So that meant a lot for my confidence in my creative ability all around. Even though it was specifically like the artwork, like the art, but like it really boosted my confidence in creating and my ability to be like, no matter what I create, there's somebody out there who understands it and sees it for what it is.
Oh, okay. That's great. I'm glad that you felt like that. Nami, it was actually a great exhibition for me, because it allowed me to express myself artistically in ways that I felt like I wasn't doing that anymore. So I learned how to incorporate all my drawings and my other aspects of my art into and making mixed media stuff. So it allowed me to play a lot with like new things that I felt like I hadn't done for quite a long time.
It was actually really fun.
Yeah, it was actually fun. Creating that was actually fun. Yeah. So let's speak more about your style in design, Naledi. So if you could just elaborate more on your style of architecture and design, and be specific on how you work and what you like and all of that stuff.
Well, firstly, when designing anything or like any great, because I particularly love residential architecture.
Oh,
You know, it's more personal. You create more, like you can be in more detail about how a space should feel when you are standing, sitting, sleeping, or whatever. And so, a great house manages or creates like three things. It obviously manages the environment, like nature, rain, storms, whatever, but also manages the things that are happening around the house. So whether next door there's a double story or whatever, you're worried about like people seeing, whether the backside of the house is like a school or something, those are things you also have to consider in a design, because those are still external forces. And number two, obviously, it has to, you know, fit in with your lifestyle. So whether you're a caterer working from home, whether you have rooms in the back, whether you are a teacher who does extra lessons at home, your home should cater to all of your daily lifestyle needs. And then thirdly, I think is the most important, it should reflect you and your family. No family is the same. No family style is the same. The way we wake up in the morning and put the makeup in the hairs and the stuff is like it carries us throughout the day. But like at home, you should also represent that personality. And I think it's so important, especially now that now everybody wants Tuscan, everybody wants modern. But what does like you? I'm not saying from outside of home, but as soon as you walk into the home, there should be some essence and some trace of your personality.
So how do you extract that personality and put it into the design process?
This is what Tammy likes to say. Tammy likes to call it sometimes architects are, sometimes we are therapists.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Sometimes we're therapists, sometimes we're friends, sometimes we really get involved in our clients' life, and they just obviously they really open up. Like we go to their houses, they really open up their lives to us, and it's just like these small things you pick up
from the conversations, and
from the way they interact, from the stories, because people literally just tell you about their entire lives.
Oh yes.
And so like those things where you're like, oh, these things are important to them, so you should definitely incorporate them.
Plus, the design process allows you guys to keep going to them over and over, so it develops a bond between.
Because we have a client that we've been working with for I think more or less 5 years. You also know them.
Yeah.
Oh, our favorite clients.
Yeah,
I'm not trying. I love all my clients. I love you all, but that family.
Yeah, that family is cool, man.
Even if I wasn't their architect, they've inspired me so much. And like literally every time I see them, I just feel more propelled to do more and like to be more and to just like, clients generally inspire me. We have the most amazing clients who allow us to do, because sometimes but that's okay. It's their money, it's their life, it's what they want. But it's really refreshing to create something so different and so beautiful for clients who allow you to, and clients you also respect and admire, and you just like it creates such a great energy,
right? And I think one thing I also love about those clients is that they allow us to work together, because they still want the photography and the video and the architecture and the interior, so it allows us to all work together, right? Which is something that we are always trying to do. So yeah, that's quite nice. So I want to get more, let's look at examples, so you can elaborate more on specificities when it comes to your designs. So maybe we could look at the glass house first.
Optic glass house.
Yes.
It's like with architecture and like picking like buildings, because there's so many buildings that have really small things that you like, but like optic glass house in Japan is just like It's set like number one on my list.
Okay.
Even Tammy will say it's number one on the list. Okay, it's set in like a busy Nahana Tropo, ne?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, busy street. Zoom, kuzum, 5 rand. In the kuzums, like it's in the kuzums. And then you come in the ground floor. As soon as you enter, there's like a water, there's a little water feature with a glass bottom.
Oh,
so when
yes.
the light shines, it shines and reflects into the hallway. So already, once you come in there, you're calm, bruh. Like,
right.
nah, you've forgotten about that date. You've forgotten about that lady who was at work talking about you. You come in and you're just like, it's fresh. And then you walk up the stairs, and the staircase is a little bit dark. And then you walk up the stairs, and then you go into the lounge. And then when you hit the corner of the lounge, there's a courtyard. And beyond this courtyard, there's these little glass bricks that kind of morph the shape of the cars and the buses from the street. So you can't you can't definitely see the street, but you can see like the reflections of the cars and stuff. And there's these huge trees, and it literally feels like you're in nature.
Oh yeah.
But you're in small street. You are living in small street.
Okay.
But it manages the outside and the inside, and like as soon as because you're out there with the 5 rand, and and it's quiet and it's nature and it's beautiful, and you're like, how is this possible?
Right?
How is this possible? Every side
design is amazing.
Blows my mind. And it's so like fine, like minimalism is not everybody's style, but like it's so simple in its design solutions. It's so simple, and it really just does everything right. I don't know, Ray. I don't know that house.
That house just does it facts. Okay, and another one is the red roof house.
Red roof house. Red roof house is really nice. In that it responds once again, great architecture. Responds to the environment.
Okay,
and it's said. I think if it's not Vietnam, it's probably around Southeast Asia. So it's really dense there, and like it's also a township setting. They also is so space is really difficult to manage. So what they managed to do is like slope the roof, and then have access to it and create these roof gardens. And they have these little courtyard spaces. Courtyard's number one solution. Courtyard.
Definitely, you guys are always talking about
it's the best. Where we're sitting right now. Like it's honestly the best solution. So, and it creates these courtyard spaces, and it's just like for me, I see spaces like that being the solution for the township, because number one, township be like people's eyes. When we build nice houses, we want people's eyes. We put the balcony in the front. One people are successful or nice.
Yeah.
But like to have a dedicated green space on the roof, but being able to connect with the street. I think those small things really make that like. So when I look at how I envision township architecture, I envision solutions like red
solutions,
roof.
yes.
Yeah, solutions like
because
red
we're
roof.
designing for solutions.
Yes, solutions for the township like red roof house, being able to connect, because obviously connecting to the street is important. Very important.
Very important.
We need to know. People. Yeah, we need to know. We want to know Mikey. We want to see Mama passing. We want to. So like having dedicated, and it's a dedicated outdoor space. It really does everything really well. So when I think about the township, I think red roof house solutions are
definitely
the ones.
So we'll have a look into one of the designs that you've done, right? One of the houses that you've done. I would like you to please speak more on that. So how did you incorporate your creative process into it, your style of design, and all of that?
I think most recently we did my family home.
Yes.
So where like my great grandparents lived.
Yes.
And my mom was raised, and my grandmother was raised.
Yes,
so this project was really.
So it's in
CWJ.
CWJ. Yes.
And so that was obviously lots of expectations.
A
lot of people, and so even though like the budget was trying.
But
I had to, because it's a family home and it's historical and it's really, really important. So we spent quite some time trying to figure out the right type of plan and the right type of things to give to my family, to present, because even me, I was a ball of nerves. I don't know.
What were you trying to achieve initially with the design?
What we're trying to achieve initially is that firstly they wanted to extend the home, right? And then because budget was limited, they could only extend to a certain amount.
Yeah.
And because apartheid planning, bathroom was still out, toilet was still outside, no bathroom.
Oh yeah.
So that was a very big thing that we extend the house and put a bathroom in the house because my grandmother lives there and she's also kind of sickly.
Oh yeah.
So and then they had to extend. It was the matchbox 4-room type of house, and so we had to extend for that. And because I know my family, I have quite a large family, and we gather quite a lot. So now detailing in the house became really important. Okay, if we're increasing the size, we need to bring more light in because more light makes the space feel much better.
Yes.
And then managing light, managing movement. Because just like, okay, I don't want my grandmother to move too far. I don't want her to be inconvenienced. I want different like height levels. I like designing for an elderly person is really important. And then so we're just like, okay, if it's a family home, what are the details that we need? I'm like, we need places for people to sit, but we don't want to buy couches. So what we did, we created a concrete bench that wraps around from the lounge, all against the lounge wall, and it comes up and becomes a kitchen counter, and then we built a central island. And so all of this space was supposed to, like when there's, we're a large family, so there'll be like, sometimes it's like 48 of us, and there was 48 of us in that small, like
48
people, yeah.
Are you for real?
I'm for real.
Okay.
I got like 13, 14 cousins. I got 13, 14 cousins.
Yeah.
And I've got like gang aunts.
Yeah.
That's like.
And I understand.
So we have a big family. So it was very important for me to create a space where we can all sit in. Because before we'd sit in the dining room space, all of us, and kids would be on the floor, people would be sitting on the couch. And like we didn't really mind it, but now we do so in that space, and it's so beautiful. It's like when I go in there, I'm even shocked myself.
Oh yeah, it's like this now.
Man, my grand actually said something. My grand said something. She was saying my cousin told my sister, she was like, the DSTV guy who came into the house. And he was just like, he never seen a house like this in Soweto.
Oh, okay.
I was just like, the DSTV guy goes, how many houses does this guy?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, how many houses? And for him to be like, for him to get into that space and be like, wow.
Yeah.
A space like this exists in a home.
Oh, yeah.
So when we have we recently had some family gatherings, that space is incredible. Like that's like I was so fulfilled to see my family just like all being accommodated in that home. It actually made me low key emotional. Yeah, so
okay, that's great. That's great. I really love that. That's amazing. Let's speak about art and you growing up, the childhood experiences that shaped you and got you to choose architecture and how they influence your design and stuff. And let's speak about the school, architecture school you went to as well, and about your parents,
Oh yeah, my parents have always since from a young age, I knew that I was very creative, and I'd always be drawing and I'd always be playing and imagining stuff with my sister all the time, and so we were always playing, and so Barbie's
Barbie, dude,
founder
the property design, oh my god,
getting into just trying to imagine home spaces.
Oh yes.
And from that moment, and then playing The Sims.
Oh, The Sims, dude. Just design. Oh my god, design.
And I'd spend hours and hours just designing, not even playing, just designing houses. I'd spend hours and hours doing that, and I was just this is something fun. And I didn't really actually think it was a job that somebody would be able to. I didn't think it was a job until there's a time in your life where you're like, what? but like, what am I gonna do for the rest of my, what do I want to do for?
Yeah.
For the like, it sounds so. What do you want to do for the rest of my life? 12. What do you know? What do you know? So I was just like, and you're like, yeah, because I like to draw. I'm like, I could be an artist.
Oh,
and
yeah.
The parents are like, hey,
slow down. The things that don't make money. You want to be a starving artist?
Stop. So I was just like, okay, fine, I don't want to go hungry. And I'm like, okay, like this architecture thing seems like a viable career. I can express myself.
So architecture allowed you to still be an artist and still,
Facts.
Yeah.
Because like, yeah, I was good at accounting in school. I just remember my mom saying, "Oh, you should do accounting." I'm like, nah, what is that? Like, what is that? It's like, yeah, you do so well. You're so good at it. I'm like, no, what is that? I don't want to do that. I really don't want to do that. Like, I really didn't. And so, like, architecture seemed like the most viable option for me. And like, I feel like all my life choices and my life decisions, and all the subtle, like, there's like little subtleties scattered through. Like, now that I'm here, like, I can see it purposely led me to this direction.
Oh, yeah.
Even though owning a company sucks and clients sometimes sucks, not all of it. Sometimes lack water.
Yeah, that's something else.
Yeah, sometimes lack water. But that's okay, it's my job. Even though it's really difficult to be a business owner. It really takes.
Yeah.
Like, you think it takes a lot out of you, né? And then you're prepared to give. Né? You're like, yeah, I'm prepared to, sacrifice 60%. Then the business says, no, I want 99.9%. And that 1% is just so you can wash and come back to it.
Yeah, exactly.
So exactly. Like, even though it's like unforgiving sometimes, but like it's so fulfilling. I cannot, like, even when there's 2 months and there's just like, ow, it's painful. But like, there's nothing else I can see myself doing.
Yeah. At all. Alright. So let's speak about how you are influenced by Japanese culture.
I mean, I think just growing up in like a rich garden and being so in tune with nature as a child and being within nature, and like having experiences of going to like Japanese restaurants and understanding Japanese culture and sensibilities. They are a culture that's centered around nature.
Oh.
And like their festivals and cultural practice are centered around like the 4 seasons. And so to see a culture even even in their buildings, it's like from the materials they use to the way they design their homes, with like the porch outside, wrapping around outside the home, connecting all the spaces. And it's just like everything about Japan has this like air of just like it's refreshing. You step into a traditional Japanese home, it's just like refreshing and just really beautifully just laid out.
Oh yeah. So it's amazing how different people and cultures are centered around,
different
the
things.
core. Yeah, they have a core, like how you mentioned that the Japanese is more like natural, because black people are more like community based kind of. So we all have like a core that we all, as a people, kind of, have a tradition and a culture that is like,
centered around one type of lifestyle.
Yes. Okay. So let's speak about how the move from Sandton to living in Soweto shaped, who you are and your design process, and how it influences your architecture, because I know it plays a big role in that. So if you could speak about that.
Well, firstly, when we lived in Sandton, it was obviously in a big house.
Yeah.
Big garden. Like the previous homeowner was like, she was really into gardens and stuff, and she would actually, she had they had a greenhouse in the back, and there was lemons. We had a lemon tree. We had grapes. We had apple. It was a big apple tree, and what else? Oh, avocados. So there was like lots of plants, lots of greenery. And me and my sister would play the whole day outside and ride bikes down the hill and swim and just be like outside.
Yeah.
And so we'd obviously visit Soweto all the time because my family lives there, my mom's family lives there, and like we're really close with our cousins there, so we'd go there all the time. And obviously we had experience of playing in the streets with them, and just township growing up, so we had like both of that. And then there came a time when we had to, life.
Hey, life.
Life ended up where we had to move to Soweto.
Yeah.
And just like, and I was 13, 14. I was just starting high school when we moved. And so just like having that stark difference between, living in a green, lush, spacious place to, a small, dusty,
Yeah.
So it's dust, right? It's dust. It was just like, and this one thing I really, really love, waking up in the morning and opening the curtains and seeing greenery, opening the windows, smelling flowers.
Oh, which is what you had at your previous home, right?
Man, I didn't understand that as a kid, but like when it wasn't there anymore, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is mentally taking. I'm feeling heavy from the lack of
disconnection to the naturals.
And I was just like, if are people here not feeling what I'm feeling? This disconnect. And I was just like, why are people's homes not like?
Yeah, why aren't they designed with the natural?
And I'm not saying you must have rolling hills. I'm just saying, just have a sensibility to the natural.
Yeah.
She's for free. Just some grass, some plot. She's for free. Just bring her inside. Bring her here. Put a coach out. Bring her here. Just like have some. Just like you can spend 30K going on a trip with your friends and your family to Durban, or you can spend 30K on some bifolding doors that open up outside. Have a stoop. Enjoy it. Have a cup of tea and coffee, and enjoy a little piece of heaven for yourself and your family, that loss over time, that you can really enjoy, that gives you the luxury of enjoying the environment you're in.
So the architecture in Soweto does not cater for those kind of...
like your home needs to be an oasis. Your home needs to be a place where your mind can rest and your spirit can rest and your body can rest. And I think nature does that the best. There's a reason why you go hiking. There's a reason why you go to the beach on holiday. Because nature has that purifying effect on your mental and spiritual health. So why are homes in Soweto so detached from all of that?
Okay, so you design with that in mind.
Oh, fact. I cannot. Can you imagine me designing a bedroom? It's nang.
Hey,
I want a master bathroom.
So that experience that you hated actually ended up contributing a lot to...
Factual. Because this is why I'm so... Because I'm an architect, I can do whatever now. Like I can do whatever I want, but what propels me to continue to want to design in the township, what propels me to continue to run this company, is that this space is not a 400,000 job. This space is not, I need to get $1 million rands to do something. This space is something that's obtainable over time. This space is something that you can spend 50K doing. It's something that's so achievable and so easy that for me it's insane for me to be like, this is something I know I can give to people. This is something, a peace of mind that I know people deserve. Black people deserve. You deserve these type of spaces, and you shouldn't have to move to Santon or all those neighborhoods to be able to get that. And so this is what continuously, it's just like, no, I need to do this.
And another house, would you like to? Which other house would you?
Another one.
The Mapung. What is it again?
Oh, Mapungubwe Interpretation Center.
That's
another one by Peter Rich.
Okay.
That's
what about
renowned. That's it's. I think I love that the most. Of course, it's a public building. I like public buildings.
Yeah.
But the way it's an interpretation center, and the whole purpose of like interpretation center is to interpret the environment and whatever they're trying to showcase. So let's say if they're trying to showcase some plants or a specific type of plant. So they interpret the environment and they house information about the plant in that environment. Think of it like a miniature museum, but the building also adds to the layer of understanding and experience.
Yeah. And so I love the texture.
Oh man! So that building interprets the landscape, and creates a landscape.
Right
through the dome roofs, through the texture, through shadows, through light. It does everything right. It does everything right, and it's so African. It's
most
Southern African. I think when I see it, I'm just like I enjoy building. It's difficult because you're managing so many little things all the time, and so a building that manages those little things really well.
Right. Okay. So Naledi, let's speak about public spaces that you really enjoy, that are really your favorite in terms of design and the experience. Buildings that are particularly in Soweto. I'd like for you to tell us which ones stand out for you.
Public. Soweto I think Soweto should be for the pedestrian, personally.
Okay.
Yeah. And obviously everybody has cars and stuff, but like, when we go to this plaza, we walk. When we want bread, we walk. And so, I think with public spaces, it needs to, first and foremost, it needs to address that.
Okay.
Because we are a walking community.
Yeah.
And so, I think, the best example of that is Hector Peterson Museum.
Yeah. So that's the museum that commemorates the role of the country students in the struggle against apartheid, right? So that building is actually reference to the iconic image of Hector Peterson being carried by one of the students with his sister after he was shot by the police, right? When the students were in riots protesting against the education system in South Africa. So he was the youngest to die, and he was actually just 12 years old, right? And the museum serves as this memorial, and because of that image, actually, that iconic image is actually the reason why people remember June 16 is because of that image. And it was very well known and stuff, and I think that image also is the reason why Hector is well known and stuff like that. So I think photography also plays a role in that, and I like how you chose that building specifically, because it allows me to also talk about how we always relate photography and architecture together, right? So what exactly do you enjoy about that building, that space? What is it about it?
Well, firstly, more like the way it's like natural growth in the community.
Yes.
Instead of building a building, now we just fence it up because we're worried about security. We're worried about those things. It's a building that has seamlessly integrated into the community. That as soon as you drive up that street, you get a hint of the plaza. But by pushing the building back, you have this huge plaza and the whole memorial, and you have that little water feature coming down. It's like you still get the solemn nature that it's like a memorial. But it's still, people still use the space. Kids play in that space. It's still it's still first and foremost a community space. And
I love how the design, sorry to cut you there. I love how the design, because at first the memorial came first, right? And then the building after. So I love how everything just is incorporated together and works well together. It's quite interesting.
You can see they were very careful from the placement of the windows, from the choice of the materials, from the placement of the trees and the benches. Everything just flows really well. And I think they did a great, for designing in the township, I think they did a great job.
Okay, so you think the design works for the people.
Facts.
Okay. Do you think it's achieved a lot of maybe solutions for the township in terms of?
I think the amount of consideration that they've taken is something future designers or future architects should take when designing public spaces.
Okay. Alright.
I think yeah. Like similar to the taxi rank in Para.
Oh yeah.
That's also very considerate design for the people.
Okay.
That's another space that's really cool.
Okay. So speaking of plazas, Kliptown also has a building that you enjoy quite a lot, the Kliptown Open Air Museum, right? Yes. So yeah, I think speaking of the stuff that you are elaborating on, that also has things we can talk about that's related to that, right?
I feel like with the plaza or the open, it's just like it's of course the space is much larger.
Yeah.
And like just giving that refresher space because Kliptown is quite tightly packed.
Yeah.
And so just having that big open space is really great, and just like the way the buildings don't really sit on the ground. They're up on the first floor. So to allow people to move through, and so I just like really enjoy the fact that it's a really great open air space, and and it gives obviously gives significance to obviously because the Freedom Charter was
the Freedom Charter was signed there, right?
Yes. So it gave significance to
because they also have the 10 giant pillars there that represent the pillars of the Freedom Charter. Yeah, so what do you think about the Freedom Charter, since we're talking about issues actually that are related to that? Because for me, I feel like I'm not really sure if it served its purpose, because I think the people that were initially the ones coming up with the ideas, right, were speaking more on community, right? They always wanted to nationalize everything, nationalism, socialism, where properties of the community, right? And so it's trying to go away from a capitalistic government, right? And I feel like that wasn't really achieved because property is still private and stuff. So I'm not sure if that served its purpose, So I guess, but politically, we could have a whole nother episode regarding that, right? But it's like, did it really serve what it intended to serve? So for you, it's also the question with the design. Did the design in turn to serve what it initially was supposed to serve for the community? Are things like that actually happening, or are we just creating things and spaces and documents that aren't really helping us? Aren't really a reflection of where we are trying to go as a country and things like that. So I don't know, what for you, the design, when you look at the design, how do you feel? Do you think it works for the community? Do you
well, I used to love this building.
Yeah. Used to.
I used to.
I know design wise you love it.
I used to love it because we had a recent client. His family has owned a store there for a very long time before the erection of the
building.
And he was just like, we're young people. I don't know, Kliptowns always look like that to me.
Yeah.
And he was just like, nah, that space was prop full of shops.
Okay.
Owned by families, obviously family run, township times family run.
And
it was full, and so these architects came and was just like, hey, we're architects, government's given us this thing, so what community, what do you guys want? Like, now I want ABCD. It's like, okay, thanks. Now I'm going to the drawing board.
And completely forgot about the community, which I feel is the same thing that happened with the Freedom Charter. It's like the community got together and decided what they wanted to do, but then the leaders, with corruption and everything, just never got
So I'm like, also, design is hard. We can't think about everybody's things. You know,
Yeah,
we can't. It's impossible to think about everybody's things. But like, it's just like the way, because when he, the way he expressed the story.
Yeah.
How, like, once the plaza was built, so many family businesses just ceased to exist, and families lost a lot of things, and so he was just like, he was really filled with a lot of anger towards the architects.
Oh yeah.
In particular, and it's just like, it was really sad, because I'm like, this building is so, in my eyes, this building is so great.
Yeah.
And you're like, but like, how has it's negatively impacted so many families, and makes you really think about creating, like, especially with public spaces, how do you create spaces which like positively influence the community.
Yeah.
Hector Peterson, you have the stalls on the side, which the community members,
because the community still strives from that. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you like flip down.
Because it shouldn't just be a building, right?
Yeah. Flip down didn't really. I mean, they do have the stores on one side, but like, if you run a family business that sells curtains, what are you gonna do selling curtains on the open air street? That doesn't really make sense.
It didn't even cater for the people that were,
So like, that's when I heard that story, if I were to design spaces like that, how could I positively influence the community? What is my role as a person designing those spaces? How can I positively influence my community?
And I think, drawing back now to you moving back to Soweto and talking about how the experience helps you design as well. And I think maybe even the architects that were chosen to design for the space, I'm not sure, but maybe they had no relation to the township, so they couldn't really understand who they were designing for and how those people could benefit, So I think somebody having an experience, you actually having an experience with the township will allow you to also, design for the problems of the people in the space, which I think is very important.
Yeah, like with anything, to understand the local mindset. I can't come here from France and be like, hey, I'm going to design this. No, like you could understand to a certain point, but like beyond that, it's outside of your lived experience. And so sometimes when something's outside of your lived experience, it's hard for you to kind of cater to that.
So you must always bring things closer to home.
What so obviously we talk about design and architecture and photography a lot, but personally, like aside from like photography and stuff, like what are the things that you enjoy the most, or you find meaning in architecture?
I really enjoy consideration to light, obviously, first of all. I like how we are very considerate to light, right? Because I know light adds a lot of warmth to spaces, Light is what a photograph is, So essentially, to understand how it also works to shape a building and make the actual building is also quite interesting. And I like how architectures as well as artists are able to incorporate not just the materialistic side of things, but the spiritual side of things, which is what we do a lot as artists, right? We're always trying to balance those two worlds with the work that we do. And another thing, I think people that used to design, especially in the olden days, I'll take example cathedrals, for example, right? For me, they're a perfect example of how the materialistic and the spiritual are balanced, right? Because initially cathedrals were electricity centers where people would go there for healing, right? Because with the design, right, there's a type of electrode, right, which are electricity conductors, right, which it's like the metal and the non-metal electrodes that conduct electricity. When they come together, they produce electricity, which is very healing to the body, right? So atmospherically, they would create the building itself would be designed in a way that it would incorporate like a healing aspect, a healing environment. Yes. So I think that consideration and understanding that architecture can also bring healing into it is the same way how I work in my creative process. I'm always trying to bring in, I'm always trying to bring in healing through my art, because it is a healing process. Like you said as well, you guys look at yourselves as therapists and all of that, So I think when I look at architecture, I can draw in a lot from how I work with my creative process. I think it's quite similar. And especially I like using the examples with the cathedrals, because especially now people consider them more as churches, but they weren't originally designed for that purpose, right? They were originally designed to heal people. That's where people would go for healing. So I really like how architectures are able to design for more than just a living space, designed for bigger things, bigger solutions than that. It's not just about solving for the design process, but it's also about
responding
to the person,
to natural human beings,
yes,
the way we live and the needs we have.
On
not just the physical level, but the mental level and like spiritual level too.
Yeah. And I like how you are also able to bring the emotional aspect of things as well, because that's what I also try to do with my work, I'm always trying to let people have an emotion, because I find that allows them to remember, to hold on to the work forever, that emotional connection, always allows people to be able to relate to you or to relate to the work, because eventually you want people to interact with your work. It's not just about
interact and connect.
Yes. So I think architecture is it plays a role in my creative process in that sense. So I think, and as well, I think we also have like a lot of spiritual conversations. Do you find a way to incorporate that understanding into your work, into your design? Is that or does it do something for you personally which allows you to work better, or like do you actually put it into the design process?
Well, spiritually, I think maybe personally, on a personal level, I'm more, I'd say, sensitive to like those type of spiritual stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
And so being sensitive to those things, I've become it's heightened my sensibility to, I think, nature and experiencing nature and natural things. And so like light is always important, the sound of water, all of those things make me more inclined to bring those elements into the house. But obviously if you're spiritually centered, you're mentally centered. And like personally, like in my own life, like obviously I guess with everybody, once you are calm spiritually, or you understand where you sit spiritually, things in your life just
right. I find that happens a lot. I find it also, it's been happening a lot to me actually.
Yeah, we've been watching. We've been no, don't get it twisted. We've been watching. We know what's happening with Don't mention it. We can just see on the YouTube playlist. It's there. We've been watching. Stress. Don't need to explain. Stressed. I've been stressed watching some of the things you've been going through. I've been stressed. And
it's very, very fun.
I've been knowing you personally, and I'm just like stressed. I'm like, what's happening?
What's happening? It feels like watching someone else, right? Because for me, it feels the same way too. It's like I'm watching myself. It's like weird, right? It's like I'm actually watching myself.
I didn't even know other parts of you like that. I was like, is this a conversation she should be having with the entire group? This is personal, yo. I'm like, Ray, you could have just phoned and told us. I'm like, Ray, you could have just phoned and told us. Why must you tell us all the people? Why
Hey, bruh. And the thing is, I'm not even trying. You know, it's just happening, just like that. Like, yeah, I'm just creating, and everything is just it's just coming together, just like that, which is so crazy.
And it's like, isn't it scary?
It is.
Like, are you not terrified? That look, I don't want my business out there.
Oh yeah.
I'm not terrified. Are you not terrified?
I think before I started the channel, I'm not really a social media person, right? So like I had to find people. So with creating the channel, before I started it, I knew I had to take a part of me out there for people to see and experience, so that they could have a connection with my brand. You know, they need to get to know me to have a connection with my brand. So I sat down and I was like, okay, these are the things I'm comfortable letting people know. So maybe I'll create it around that so that they feel like they know me. But I find that like something completely different is happening now. Now it's like, it's just asking me to like, which is like so crazy. It's just like asking me to take out every bit of part of me. But my friends are enjoying it. So
I'm honestly, like from the person, like I would say in the last 2 years, the person you're becoming now. I really see you like blossoming into who you're supposed to be. And like just watching you go through this journey. And like I'm a yesterday nigga to you, but like we knew each other yesterday. But like man, I'm really excited to see like where you're going and what you're doing, and like you know me.
You know, I know, because you guys are always calling. All my friends actually are always texting me after like, I watched that, blah blah blah.
I just get stressed. I'm just like, yo, really, just like, just to see you like open up, like, so to be so sensitive and so, I'm just like, damn, this is and you're just like, yeah, no, fuck this nigga. I'm just like, yo, bro.
It's the same way. There's multiple parts of Ray, man. Yeah. Which one is your favorite so far that you've watched?
Oh man, I think the last video.
Oh yeah.
Where you were talking about, oh my god, like your dad. I didn't even know you had a live dad.
Yeah.
Forget like
everybody in my life knew my dad from that video. Knew about him from that video.
Oh, you're a dead dad, not a live dad. I'm like, cool, Ray has a dead dad. She does. Like I already like Ray has a dead dad. That she speak about. Fine. Like let's speak about a dead dad. Okay, let's go with dead dad. Cool, dead dad. So then like just from that to the first video that you really spoke about, I think it was like a 2-part video.
Oh, 3-part series.
Yeah, all those 3 parts.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like to see the sheer difference in those two. I think it's like really cool. Because there you were really just like beginning.
Oh yeah, right.
To open up, and then there you were just like dead dad. It's just like dead dad. So I thought like I think obviously like with all architecture and like I'm more interested in like the progression instead of like this one is my favorite, just to see where you've come from and where you're going.
So yeah, we're planning an exhibition, a new show coming up very soon. So have you come up with any ideas on what we're gonna do actually? Because we haven't quite explored that with this one.
I guess I've recently started painting again, which is great. So my core concept, like theme is always women.
Okay.
Yeah. Women number one, always in my life, love them.
Yeah.
And I'm so inspired by women. But like our definition of women is changing. Not like it still stays the same, but I guess it's more broader. Than a traditional woman. But like it's so much broader than that. And you know, you're not just a woman because you look like a woman. You're a woman because of so many different things. And so I feel like we should be exploring, at least from I think we should, like the exhibition, I really want to explore that definition. And not definition, but I want to explore it in so many different ways. And what it is.
Have any ideas came up with something so far?
So far I'm working on one piece.
Okay.
It's a painting, but like it's mixed media. I'm not sure. I'll see where it goes. I'm enjoying the journey because just like starting to paint again. So it's just like the first, like it's just an image of a lady a woman from the back, and like just so as I was like painting this, I'm just like, okay, what makes this a woman? She has, you know, her hips, her hair, and all of these things. But I'm like, okay, she doesn't have hips. Does that make her less of a woman? Is she a woman? She doesn't have the hair. Just from the back, you know, and also just like the back of a woman. You know, when you think about all the things she does, like I think it's really like symbolic. Just the symbolism of it alone, I think is really beautiful. And so I just want to explore.
And with just the back in the picture, it's like, okay, so when you take away all these things that make her a woman,
you know,
or the face, the hips, and all of that, and you're just looking at the back, kind of gets you to question, you know exactly what it is, and okay, intriguing to explore. Okay, so when do you think we should?
When do you think we should?
I think sometime in summer, which will give me the whole winter to create things. Yeah, I think in winter I'll have time, because I have, like, I can't even take pictures. I don't take much pictures anymore. I'm too busy with the videos and stuff. It's taking so much of my time.
True.
Yeah.
How is editing? Because like editing would be the worst.
It's the worst.
How do you hear your own voice?
I get so annoyed, bruh. By the time I actually drop the video, I'm sick of my videos, because I have to edit it and watch it like 100 times, because I have to insert things in the mix of things, and I keep hearing myself saying the same thing over and over. By the time I drop the video, I'm over it.
So by the time you're done editing, you're going to fall in love with me. Buy me a house.
Yeah.
Buy me a house, baby. That's all I want. You're going to be sick of me if I cannot buy me a house.
I will buy you a house.
Thanks.
Summertime's gonna be dope. Back. So exhibition, summertime. Yeah. So yeah, we are done with today's show. Before we conclude, like, where to from here with you? Actually, are you still doing are you done with the interior design course? What are you doing from here?
Well, all on like my pursuit of knowledge to obviously create the best things, to be able to create the best for my clients.
Oh yeah.
To be able just to create and express myself. So I'm always just trying to learn, trying to grow.
Oh yeah.
And that's what I'll continue doing.
Oh, alright. That's great.
And you, man?
You know.
In your series, your first episode.
Now I'm just concentrating on the channel. That's all that's taking up my time right now. And it will be, I want to get back to, I haven't had an exhibition in a while actually.
True.
So I think it's just going to be between working on the channel and creating work for shows.
And more surprises from Ray's family that we don't know. Maybe a dead cow this time. Maybe we don't know.
Maybe.
We don't know. But anyway, let's continue. Okay.
My life is a movie.
Ray's gonna stress you when you're watching. You're just there watching. You have Ray in the background. You're cooking your eggs and just looking, and then you just hear,
Dad, what's going on with this shit? Okay, enough about my life. Okay. It was really great to have you, Naledi. I really loved this session. I hope you enjoyed it. At least we didn't have to do too much retakes. And you talk a lot. Goddamn, this episode's gonna be forever.
It's okay. This is my first YouTube channel, guys. Please subscribe. Like at the bottom. Thank you.
Okay, might as well do the closing since.
Thanks. Well, this is still imagery.
Yes.
Really excited to be here. Thank you so much. For all you new people who are watching, please subscribe to our channel. Very informative. Learn how new. We're growing in this world. You should learn new skills.
Yeah, man.
Catch up on your.
Catch up on Ray and Pumi.
Catch up. So.
Which one's your favorite? Ray, Pumi?
Oh my God! Hey Ray, hey Pumi. I love both of them. I don't know. I'm so stressed.
We love all of them. We love you, darling. That was fun.